Hi there. So this is our second video where we're going to talk again about teamwork, conflict in teams, and we're going to be touching on motorsport and the small team that revolves around the rider or riders. And in particular, we're going to be thinking about a rider or an athlete who is very passive. So when they're faced with discussions, conflict, they'll keep quiet and they won't react and respond. So Alex is going to tell you though a little bit more about that, about what they're thinking, they're feeling, and how they're behaving. And we're going to offer one or more solutions too. Over to Alex.
Thanks, David, and great to be here doing another video. So yeah, I think the jumping off point that's really important is to recognize whether we are passive, aggressive, or assertive. So I can give a little outline of kind of how it might feel, what it might look like to be passive. So we mentioned in the last video that there's that key about kind of having our rights and respecting other people's rights. So if we feel that we're passive, we might notice that we put other people's needs before ours. So we think their rights are more important than ours. And that can show up in terms of verbally, you might not express your needs or your ideas or even your feelings. And you really just keep like your opinions to yourself. You stay quite quiet. And then that can generally lead to quite intense feelings of anxiety or even depression if it's been going on for a long time. And with our needs not getting met, that can then lead to feeling resentful and also confused because we need those needs met, but we're not meeting that need. And then we might also have feelings of being afraid of rejection, and that can really underpin that resistance to expressing needs. And instead, we're probably worrying more about others. And then mentally, this will all have developed over many years. And mentally, people will have started to believe they cannot stand up for themselves. They don't really have evidence that it goes well. Maybe they've never tried that they can remember. So they might see themselves as weak and then can experience quite a lot of negative self-talk. And then physically, you might notice, if you see yourself in a video, or other people might notice, or you might sense that there's poor eye contact, you're kind of slumping over more. Body posture is not like a confident body posture. And you might have a really quiet voice and people might struggle to hear. So yeah, I think all of these are really important just to first of all tune in. Is this me? Is it describing me? And am I passive? And will this video help me?
Really fascinating, interesting, because the assumption, I suppose, in a sport like motor racing, if someone isn't performing, the technical aspects get looked at. There can often be a lot of blame and a lot of criticism aimed at the rider or the athlete there. So I suppose from a team angle too, if you're noticing the rider is withdrawing themselves, or you're noticing that they're perhaps responding like we're talking about passive here, aren't we? I was going to say they're responding really aggressively on occasions, but in the main, they're more so passive, but they do respond aggressively on the very odd occasion because they bottle things up. Then yeah, there's some warning lights there, isn't there? Potentially about the whole communication from everybody, not just the actual like rider and the athlete there.
Yeah, and I guess that's really important as well because the team can encourage more assertive communication by just asking questions and diving in. So that would be good if they noticed.
Yeah. So although I suppose in this case where we're talking about how we would support a passive rider, in some ways everybody in the team knowing about passive aggressive, assertiveness, aggressive behavior can be hugely beneficial and help everybody towards those collective goals. One thing that can underpin this, which you've alluded to, is someone who's very passive can suffer with what I would class as a can't do attitude. They can be negative, as you've mentioned, about things, which can impact on their self-esteem. So that will lead us nicely to our next video where we'll talk more about self-esteem and again how us as sports psychologists would help the the rider or the athlete improve their self-esteem, so that then again they can improve their communication style with the team as a whole. So yeah, big thank you again today for your time, Alex, and yeah, see you all soon.